Hello all. So today we will discuss about builder design pattern in Java. Builder design pattern is a creational design pattern like factory design pattern, structure abstract factory pattern, singleton design pattern. So now the thing is that like when we are going to use builder design pattern. So let's say like we are having a one object and this particular constructor having a long parameter list, or maybe we are having a multiple constructor with defined parameters. So this will looks very complex. So maybe in this particular scenario we can use this builder design pattern so that the code looks very easy. As we know, like the builder design pattern help us in creating a immutable classes with a large set of state attributes. So if you're going to take one example as user management software module, then user object is a main entity. So ideally, like the once this user object is fully created, we will not want to change its state, right? So let's assume this particular user object having the five attribute, let's say first name, last name, age, phone, and the address. So now if we want to make it immutable, then we must pass all these five parameters to the constructor, right? So it will be look like something like this. So we need to pass five parameters as a in a constructor, and then we need to set over here, right? So now the thing is that if in certain scenario, like only the first name is last name are mandatory and the rest of the three fields are optional, then there is a problem, right? We need to create more constructor to resolve this one, right? So then maybe there are certain another things, maybe three parameters are mandatory, two are optional. So like in certain scenarios there are certain another scenarios, like then we need to create more constructor like this one, first, second, third, fourth. So this is not the end actually. Now suppose if we are going to add another actually, if we're going to add another fields into the user object, like for example salary, then there are two options, like maybe we can create means we can create another constructor with this new field, or maybe we need to use the setter one, so that we can set there, but it will actually lose the immutability concept, right? So now the same situation, to handle this situation actually builder pattern is basically used. Now like as we know, like the builder pattern, there is another situation actually. So where actually builder pattern also introduced, like if we are going to use this factory pattern and the abstract factory design pattern, when the object having lots of attributes, if those attributes also the type of those attributes is same like string or maybe the int, then it's hard to maintain those things, right? So even some of the parameters, if it is some of the parameters are optional, then we need to forcefully we need to send all the parameter. Even optional fields are should be null, right? So there is a like we need to maintain something. So this is also like causing issues sometimes. So these are the actually very means problem with this pattern, or you can say there are certain scenarios. So in those situation we are going to use those means builder design pattern. So there are certain ways we need to follow for creating this builder design pattern. Let's see like how can we implement the builder design pattern in Java. So first point is to step one, first of all we need to create a static nested class and then copy all the arguments from the outer class to the builder class. We should follow the naming convention, like if we are having the user object, then the builder class should be named as user builder, just is a convention. Step 2, Java Builder class should have a public constructor with all the required attributes as parameter. Step 3, Java Builder class should have method to set the optional parameters and it should return the same builder object after setting the optional attribute. The final step should be is to provide a build method in the builder class that will return the object needed by the client program. For this, we need to have a private constructor in the class with builder class as argument. So this is the kind of briefly overview of this builder design pattern. So now next what we'll do, we'll create one like a real example like object, so that we can I will explain how it will how we can create the builder design pattern. Let's create one class for this one. So like I've already created one like project, Java project. So let's create one package over here for means write the create one class related to the builder design pattern. Sorry, it not be a, we need to create a one package, new package like builder design pattern. Let's create one class. Let's say we are going to create the user class, user. So like user having, let's say, as it will having some kind of 5 fields, so we need to create all the fields as a final, as it is going to provide the immutability. Final string first name, then last name, then like int age, next phone, next final string address. Okay, so we've created these fields. Okay, it is saying the means the final listing should be initialized. It's we have not, so we are going to initialize under the constructor, inside of the constructor. So let's create one constructor over here. So private user, and in the parameter we are going to create one builder class actually. It will be static builder. Let's create this class. So how we'll create this class? So it will be like static class, public static class, and then name would be, and here we can pass like, as if we say like the first name and the last name is the mandatory field, so we can pass these two parameter over here. Last name. Okay. Okay. Sorry, we need to pass those things in a constructor actually, but here we need to create those field actually, and here we need to create one constructor, and here we need to pass those parameters. We need to set okay. Next actually here what it is saying, okay, so this will be the final field, and this actually we don't need to, those are final, as this field is optional actually, so that's why we don't need those things. Now it is resolved. Okay, Now here, now the user builder class is created. We will create the setter in the later section, but we need to actually initialize all the fields over here in this constructor. Okay, last name, first name, then age, then address. Okay, here actually what we'll do, builder dot first name, builder dot last name, builder dot age, builder dot phone, builder dot address. Okay, so we have initialized here. Now what we can do, we can like create means we need to means create the getter of this one of those fields. So either we can like create the getter here, or maybe we can use the like getter setter like getter annotations. Select getters and now generate those getters. Okay, so here the getters are generated. Okay, okay, now here actually we need to create the like we need to create builder for all the like phone, age and all those things. We need to set those things and return this particular object. So how we can do that? We need to create like public, actually here actually it will return this user builder if we are calling this user builder, and here like age, int age, and here actually we need to set this age equal to age and return this. Same we need to do for the phone, public user builder phone, here string phone, and then we need to set this phone equal to phone, and next we need to, and then we need to return this object, and same we need to do for the address. Here also we do need to do same thing. Okay, and here we can create means we can provide one toString method so that it will help us to in logging for logging those things. Yeah, so this is done. Now after that we need to create the build method which will actually return the finally constructed user object. Here actually we need to create one construct, means we need to provide this, create the build method, user this, and here we need to return this particular user, or maybe we can directly return from here also, both can be done. So this is like means we are in this way we can create this user like building this user object. Like what we did basically, here we have created one user with these 5 fields, and here inside of this private constructor we have passed this builder so that we don't need to pass all these parameter, and from here it's setting those attributes. And while creating this user builder object, here actually let's say assume these are the mandatory, so here in the constructor we have passed those fields and rest fields are the optional. So that's why we have here like created the like created this setter one, so that or maybe from here we can set those things and it will return the user object. And finally here we have created the one build method, and using this we can like building this user object. Let's create one main method so that from here we can check. Let's create one main method, user builder example. Okay, main method. So here user equal to new user dot user builder John, and last name would be Allen. Okay, next actually from here we can set like age is for example 30. Next we can set like address. Next like we can set phone. Next, once we set all this field, then we need to finally like create the build. Let's print out this one. User object user. Let's run this one. Java application. It will print all the values. Okay, now let's say we need to create another user with optional field. We don't need to pass the optional field. For example, we don't need to assign it here. Let's say we don't need to pass this age. Let's say what it will print now. Yeah, as int, it is a int variable, so that's why it is showing 0. Let's say we are not passing this address. What it will do? As you can see, address is none, so we don't need to pass over here, right? So in this way, like it's look very easy, right? So in this way, like we can do all these things using the builder pattern. So you can see like this like whatever the means approach we have followed over here. Here actually we don't use any kind of setter method, right? Means here only we are having the getter method. So in this way actually it's not here actually we are not changing any kind of state, so it's actually follow the immutability, right? It's provide the desired immutability rules. So this is the thing if we are checking some existing implementation of the JDK, so for example the string builder, string buffer, so those are also means following this pattern. Like as we can know, like if we are going to, sometimes we have used the string builder pattern for the string. So string builder having some append method, it is actually follow the same pattern. Means using the append we can use means append the multiple string, right? So what is the advantage actually? So actually it is increasing the number of lines, but the parameters of the constructor are reduced. We don't need to pass the optional parameter as a null. So these are the like very advantages, and kind of the disadvantages, like we need to write the most of the lines, but obviously it is a kind of drawbacks of it, like we need to write the more things over here. But the means this is a very good advantage of this. We don't need to write too many parameters inside of the constructor. We don't need to pass optional fields as null. So this is the kind of thing. In case any doubts or anything, any concerns having, so please do let me know in the comment sections. And I will see you in the next videos. For the time being, thank you. Bye bye.